Welcome to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. I'm Scott.
I'm Candace.
I'm Lariah.
And I'm Lacey. Grab a drink and come hang with us at the Hangar Bar. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hanging at the Hangar Bar podcast. Today we are talking about one of my favorite parks, my favorite park, Epcot. A quick reminder before we get into today's episode, please go follow us over at Hanging at the Hangar Bar on Instagram. We do giveaways over there and upload pictures pertaining to episodes that we talk about. So go ahead and follow us there, and let's get into this episode. So Epcot, my favorite park. Future World and World Showcase. I love them both.
So what makes it your favorite park?
I don't know. It doesn't scream Disney, like Magic Kingdom does.
Yet,
yeah. We'll probably get into that a little bit. And it's not that I don't like that it's not that I like that it doesn't scream Disney, but it's just so unexpected. And before we went for my first trip, a lot of people were saying how boring of a park that was. A lot of my friends.
Blasphemy.
Right? I know. So I think it was expectations that were pretty low. And then when we went, it was, way more than I thought it was going to be. Also, it was my first park, so I don't know if that has something to do with it.
It's like nearest and dearest, and like it hit your heart first, so that's...
You always remember your first time.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's what she said.
I've officially embarrassed Candace, and we're only 3 minutes in. Yay!
Is this a goal?
It should be.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start at the front of the park. You walk in. Let's talk a little bit. Do we want to talk about changes that they've made since our last visit as we go through the park?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, when we were there in 2019, had they started taking down the monoliths yet? Like out front, the big stone, did they have like big stone
I remember construction going on around the front of the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
They were in the process of pulling them down.
Okay, so maybe half of them were there, the other half weren't. Mm-hmm. You'd kind of have to look for them.
Yeah.
So when you used to walk into Epcot, you'd walk over handprints and people's faces, and like people had spent like $250, $500 on a brick that you could put in the ground at the beginning of Epcot. But on there you could have pictures of your faces on the monoliths.
Yeah.
And they were just big stone things that had like little black and white pictures all over them of your family, your pets, whatever. Lacey's going to Google it quick because she's looking at me like I'm crazy and don't know what I'm talking about. But so they've replaced those with a big crystal kind of Epcot.
It's kind of a throwback, but not really. Like the symbol that's on the pylons on the new fountain in front is the old symbol for Epcot. Like that's the original logo symbol for Epcot. So it's kind of a throwback, and yet this is where we're going. This is where came from. I think it's really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are the monoliths.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So since we're talking about that, let's make sure we get a picture of the old monoliths up on the Instagram.
Got it.
So other people aren't as confused as you were when I was talking about them. But let's talk about, you walk by that little Joffrey's cart. We stopped there to get coffee once, and then you make a right-hand turn. You go through security, you get your bag checked, give them your fingerprint, not so much anymore. But then you're staring at the prettiest girl in school.
Epcot.
We can share that picture on our Instagram, too. Lariah drew us the prettiest girl in school. And so what do we think of that ride?
Spaceship Earth?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The golf ball.
One of...
Definitely a must-do. Definitely.
Candace
is about to punch me in the head because I called it the big golf ball.
not a golf ball.
Spaceship Earth. So
It's
Loraya
wonderful.
says it's a must-do.
Yeah, I
At
agree.
least once.
At least once. If you can get it
Once
where
a
it's not
day.
broken down.
Yeah.
So what about updating that ride? Does it need updated?
The first time I was ever on it, the narrator was actually Jeremy Irons, the voice of Scar.
Oh, that would be cool.
It was really awesome. And there were some scenes that they kept, they just scaled far back. Like they changed some different things around. So to me, going on it now, it's not like it used to be. So they kept true to itself, and I do love Dame Judi Dench. So,
Yeah, her voiceover is great, but one of the things you don't like about the most recent update, which is 15, 20 years ago, was when they turn you around and you're coming backwards. They turned that into a computer game instead
Yeah.
of having more future type
and
things.
it used to
look
be
at.
like a classroom, sort of like the Zoom situation that we've started doing ever since the pandemic started. It used to be a Zoom situation where there was a classroom, and there was a classroom in person learning about dragonflies, and then like it did this really cool light thing, and across the tunnel there would be a little boy sitting in his room watching that on his TV.
Oh, wow. So which one do you prefer now, looking back?
Well, I'm probably one of the minority. In fact, I know I am. I want to see something. I don't want to have my face stuck in a screen.
True.
And with the game that they have you play now, I figure like, okay, so they've hung some twinkly lights, which are awesome, but your focus is supposed to be on a screen. I don't go to a Disney World to look at a screen.
Right.
Right. Okay, that does make sense.
We should write that down as a future topic. Screens at Disney World. Just because like they turned that was like their first foray into screens. And now every ride they're putting in is basically a screen-based attachment. And we
With
can get into
trackless
this.
vehicles.
Soon we'll be talking about the 50th anniversary because that's going to start here very soon. We have that planned out as a topic, but some of the changes they're making is you're going to have your nose in your phone constantly. Mm-hmm. So Disney and screen time. Let's make that a future topic for us to talk about in a future episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That ride is a lot of fun. Like the smells. Oh,
Yeah.
Like when you're okay. Let's do this. This episode's probably going to go longer than what we think, but because there's so much about Epcot that we love. What's your favorite scene in Spaceship Earth, and why?
I have two.
Ours might be the same.
My first one is the Egyptians.
Making
And the papyrus, because everything about ancient Egypt just fascinates me beyond. And the second one is Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel.
Yep, that's mine. The Sistine Chapel. I love that part.
Loraya?
Okay. I'm trying to think because I've only been on that ride twice. And I'm pretty sure I remember a majority of it. And I think, because I get some scenes mixed up with Carousel of Progress because they look similar. But there's a scene where they're like watching the spaceship go off, right?
Yep.
Like,
In the living room?
yeah, the moon landing, right? I love that scene. I love space. So I like that and the
And then the
lab,
end.
the one that you hate, the part
Oh,
you
the
hate.
lab. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
With the
lab.
big computers and
Yeah.
the lady with
Yeah.
the go-go boots?
Yeah.
It reminds me of it. If you've ever seen Creep Show, there's one of the stories, and it's like futuristic, kind of like that. And I don't like all the beep 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 noises. It freaks me out. Like I'm just like, ooh, I don't like that.
So with your love of space, I'm really surprised that your like top number one of that entire thing is not when you come around the corner and you see Spaceship Earth. Like
When
the
you see
Earth up in
Earth.
the sky.
I do like that, but I am also someone who is kind of terrified of big spaces. So it does kind of scare me. So it's like weird where that part does scare me, but I also love space, but I don't know if I would want to go into space. I just find it very intriguing.
The mystery behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a lot of things out here, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I will say that old version, well, the original version that I saw versus the current version,
Yeah.
the narration is different enough so that in the Jeremy Irons version, when he said this, our spaceship Earth, that was the point where you would come around that corner. So it was timed like perfectly so that it was like
Wow.
boom. And now it's just like doo-doo-doo.
There it is. There's her.
Hey, I thought we were on Earth.
That's the power of Disney. You get into the big golf ball and you leave Earth.
Death glare.
We're going to have to get a picture of the death glare just so people can see the look that I'm getting. So my favorite, I have, 1.5 favorite scenes. So the first one is Rome burning.
Yeah.
And the only thing I love about Rome burning, the main thing I love about Rome burning is that crackling of the fire that you hear and the smell of vision. They put you into 4D in that moment and you get that smell.
So is that your half scene?
No,
That's a full scene.
that's the full scene.
Okay.
The half scene is when they say, if you can read and write, thank the Phoenicians.
Thank you, Phoenicians.
I love that. We thank the Phoenicians every time we drive by because they made our alphabet.
We're just following instructions.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so is that all we want to talk about with Spaceship Earth? Anything else?
What do you say to somebody that says, oh, that's a boring ride?
Well, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but you're in the Epcot ball, man. Like, that's wicked awesome. Like, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I feel like people who don't like that ride are more of just a thrill rider. And I mean, there are some thrilling rides at Disney, but the best ones, I mean, they have good thrilling rides, but I mean, it's about all of it. Like, you learn stuff in there. It's fun to
It's the
learn.
whole edutainment thing.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I agree. You do go to Epcot to learn,
Yeah.
I think. I love to learn. I know that. So I think that's really cool that they added a park.
Yeah, and I hope they don't
Like
get
that.
rid of that. The direction they're moving is so far away from that I hope they don't lose that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they're adding right now is not that. And that's sad to me.
Yeah.
It makes it less worldly.
Yeah, it's a very, I don't know how to say this without being offensive, so I'm just going to say it. My apologies in advance. It's becoming very Americanized. Like, we have to be entertained
Yes.
every minute of every day. We can't do anything for ourselves. We can't think on our own. We can't do any of that without either a screen in our face, something to eat, or, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like fast-paced entertainment 24/7 instead of just more slow. Like, if we want to move into a different ride right now, Living with the Land, another slow-moving ride that is educational and kind of shows you, it grounds you, showing you where all your food comes from. Because when we were kids, you just sit down and there's food on your plate. You don't know how it got there. And I just think there's a lot of rides in Epcot that kind of, educates you, and it's fun. I would like that if I were a kid.
Yeah.
And then another ride, Journey into Imagination, kind of, showing you how to use your imagination and having fun with it and all of that. There's just a lot of those rides that I think are important, and I think that's another reason why I like Epcot.
And even the Seas with Nemo and Friends. I mean, the ride itself is adorable because you get to see the animation over the aquarium, but then you get to go and actually see the aquariums, and they're amazing.
Right.
Yeah, and we've not taken a lot of time after we get off of that ride. Like, we're kind of guilty of that too. You get off the Seas with Nemo and Friends, you could spend hours walking around those aquariums when you get off that ride. And we just typically make a beeline for the door instead of spending time exploring those aquariums. So that's one of those things I want to add to my I want to do lists. So that was a good segue into other rides. Let's go back into the Land Pavilion. So let's talk about Living with the Land. We'll go sort of top down or bottom up of that pavilion. What about Living with the Land is such a good ride to you, Lacey?
I love food. I do love food. And it's just kind of a calming ride. And another one that, when you think of Disney, you think of characters, Disney movies, and all of that. And then you go to Epcot and you go into Living with the Land and you're in a boat and you're in a greenhouse and you're seeing all these fun fruits and vegetables and herbs and all of that growing. And someone's talking to you, telling you, how things are grown and teaching about, I think there's a word for it, but like fish
Agriculture.
And just all of that. And then I just remember seeing a watermelon in a plastic Mickey shape, trying to get the watermelon to shape into a Mickey. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And we've talked about this, about doing a tour behind the scenes of it. And I think that would just be so much fun. I love gardening. I just think it's so cool to, like, you're growing food. I don't know, it's just fun. And then we eat at
Garden Grill.
I always want to call it Veggie Grill. Because isn't there a restaurant called Veggie Grill in California? Like a vegan? Okay.
No idea.
But then, you eat there, and doesn't that food come from?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of cool. It, like, grounds you again, just seeing where your food came from. And
It's the circle of life.
exactly.
Is there any part of that ride that's annoying? I asked that question because I have one.
The only part that I can think of that annoys me, and I think I notice it more when we're up at Garden Grill eating because it happens several times while the meal goes on, is the barking dog at the farmhouse.
Oh, yeah. I
Just
can agree.
give it a bone or just make it stop. Go chase a chicken or something.
Go to bed, you sleep. Go take a nap.
Somebody let that dog inside. It's chasing too many squirrels. Yeah, that's the exact same spot that I was thinking of. I love that ride, the land. It's a great one. A nice way to get into the air conditioning for a bit. Seeing all the hot hydroponics and the ways they do different things, and the one where they have the fish that are eating the root system and the plants are growing out of the top of it. It's just so much really cool stuff there.
And I remember the first time we went on that, I'm like, we should go on this. It's really cool. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, that was my response because there was nobody in line for it. I'm like, how cool can a ride be if nobody is waiting for it?
And I got you on it, and you're like, that was so cool. Duh.
Yeah. I like the whole pavilion, too. I think it's just neat being in there. And then you have Soarin' in there, which is fun. I don't know. It's just a cool little... I could spend some time in there.
I want to eat in the quick service location in there. What's the name of it?
Sunshine Seasons.
Yeah.
Yes. I do, too.
Yeah, it looks like... from what I understand, they usually have some pretty good desserts and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then up on the main level where you come into the pavilion, there's kind of a little theater thing back there, and they had like a Lion King show there for a while, and before that it was Food Rocks with singing vegetables. It was pretty amazing. Yeah, but I don't think there's anything going in that theater right now
Because they're trying to keep people apart.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned Soarin'. That is probably my favorite ride in Epcot.
Really?
See, we don't really talk about that ride a whole lot, or at least we haven't, and I feel like it's really underrated.
because it used to be better.
What?
Yeah, Lorai's the only one who didn't get to experience,
Soarin' over California.
I think. When did they change that? I think I did the...
You've been on it both ways.
Okay, I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that when you get to smell the oranges?
Yes.
Yeah, they took out that scene. Now the only thing you get to smell is like a little bit of ocean water and hot when they fly over the desert.
And
Not at the same time, because otherwise that's a hurricane.
Yeah, and okay, this is going to be my first kind of knock on Imagineering just a little bit. When they redid that ride, so for those that may not know, it's a ride that is an IMAX screen So it feels like 3D, but you don't have to wear glasses, right? No, they don't put you in glasses. So when they put the Soarin' Around the World skin on that, the video that they used, if you are not sitting in the exact middle row, so there's 3 tiers, all the scenes are distorted. So the Eiffel Tower is bent to the side. The mountain looks janky. What's the other one that just threw me off? If they had the Eiffel Tower, it was probably straight.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Not the Eiffel Tower. What's the one? The Leaning Tower of Pisa was that was
I knew
a
that.
horrible joke, and I just missed the punchline.
I know. I was like, shoot, Scott, that's not the right one.
That was such a great joke, and I just horribly missed the punchline.
I didn't know they fixed that.
Wait, it's straight now? Do they show the Space Needle at all?
No, I don't think so. But
Okay.
like every scene has something that if you're not sitting in the exact middle row, like middle seat, middle row, it just looks off.
Like you can tell that you're in front of a
Right,
screen.
you lose the magic of the hang gliding.
Yeah.
When everything is, the top of it is tilted 45 degrees to the right. Mm-hmm. It just they can do better.
Yeah. Especially with, I know you two haven't ridden it yet, but with Lorraine and I riding Flights of Passage, if they can do that,
Yeah.
they can fix
Because that's
Soarin'.
just a single screen too, right?
Yes, it is, but it's amazing how you really, that's like the only ride that I felt that I was actually,
That is 3D though.
yes, it is.
You have to put on glasses.
Yes, that is true. Which, I don't know, changing Soarin' to be 3D, I don't
wouldn't
think
be
would,
bad.
no. I think it would be
And I don't really know like what brought along the change. Because I thought Soarin' over California, they just called it Soarin' at Walt Disney World because you're not in California. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And then here they come. And I know it's, diversity and inclusion and we want to show more places and all this. But the change seemed to happen really fast at a point that I don't know what was required.
This may sound kind of stupid, but do you think it had anything to do with like sensitivities to like certain like oranges or something like
scents or
like allergies? I don't know if that
It
makes
could
sense
have
at all,
been.
but that's just kind of what I was thinking.
Well, if that was a thing, you would have thought that maybe they just would have toned it down or got rid of the scent.
Right, that's true. That's true.
Because they keep the scent of the burning,
That's true.
I don't know. Okay, so they have Soarin' in Disneyland.
they do.
And did they change that one as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has the same issue that the one in Disney World has.
Mm-hmm.
They're just using the same video. Same ride system.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, we watch quite a number of vloggers and things like that on YouTube. And when they go on Soarin', they're always like, now, they can't guarantee it, but if you ask for the cast member for, row whatever it is, that'll put you in the perfect position so you don't see the distortion. That's all fine and good, but there's only so many seats that those cast members can give away. And if they're constantly being barraged with requests to sit in these spots, I don't think that's right either.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Again, Imagineering can do better.
Yeah, I feel like that should drive them to kind of fix up that ride if they have people asking for specific seats, They want every seat to experience the whole ride just as well as other seats.
Yeah, so often you hear people when they're raising prices or whatever saying Walt wouldn't like that. I think if I could honestly pick what Walt wouldn't like, he wouldn't like an attraction that pulls you out of the magic.
Right. I agree.
And he would never have let that go live.
No.
He would have been like, we have to fix that before we can let anybody on it.
Or if you hear a certain number of complaints, you fix it. You take it back to square one and you fix it.
Yeah.
And then you make it better than it was before.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm not a huge fan of people saying, well, Walt would have wanted, because nobody really knows. But we also know that Walt was particular about the rides.
Yeah.
Very particular. Okay, cool.
Thanks, Walt.
So that's everything. That's all the rides in the Land Pavilion. Let's talk about. I know we've spent a lot of time on food in previous podcasts, so we don't have to spend a lot of time there today. But Garden Grill. Yes, no. Would you do it again?
Yes.
Heck yes.
Love that restaurant.
As a vegan, have you looked up what their vegan menu is for like lunch and dinner?
I am now.
Okay. So while she looks that up, Candace and I had the lunch, which is the same menu as the dinner, which is home style cooking, pot roast, fried potatoes, turkey,
green beans,
macaroni
macaroni and cheese with goldfish crackers. I mean, come on.
and bread and all that kind of good stuff. And you get to see Farmer Mickey.
Adorable.
Can't get any cuter than that.
No, you really can't.
That's the cutest I see Mickey around the parks, honestly.
Oh, they have a veggie loaf, which I've been meaning to make one of those. Usually it's just made with like lentils and rice and spices. Here's kind of a picture. It's like written on, but how good does that look?
That actually looks
that
really
does
good
look
with French
really good.
fries and green beans and something in the back. Like a corn succotash, maybe?
Yeah, and
And
rice.
that's on their non-vegan.
Yeah,
one,
it
too.
is.
Well, perfect. Yeah, it's just like good comfort food.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love it.
Yeah, I think you guys would like the lunch experience there, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
I would go do lunch.
Yeah.
Breakfast was amazing. And I love the whole family style type. I love that.
Yeah, I so prefer that over buffets.
Then for dessert, they had this amazing like strawberry shortcake sort of conglomeration. And then because we had our anniversary celebration buttons on, they brought us cookies and cupcakes and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, does it ever stop? I mean, thank you, but enough. To go walk in the heat.
That's too funny. Okay, so do we want to leave the land?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Goodbye, land.
Would you say that that's your favorite part of Epcot? I know Epcot is your favorite park, but would you say the Land Pavilion is your favorite, Lacey?
Of Future World, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know why I could spend hours there. And I think it's because it kind of gives like a late 80s, early 90s sort
Totally.
of vibe. And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so we leave there. We already talked a little bit about the Seas with Nemo and Friends. That's also where Lacey's favorite restaurant is. That's where you go, you leave the land and turn left and you go over to Coral Reef and all the big aquariums. One of the things that I think is on my bucket list, and I don't know if you have to be certified to be able to do it, but did you know you can dive in those aquariums?
No.
You can scuba in those aquariums.
The one that's in the restaurant that you can see from the restaurant. You can scuba. In
You
that.
know, at this point, I'm not surprised that you would be able to do that there. That's awesome experience, though.
Yeah, no idea how expensive it is, but yeah, they'll put you in scuba gear and you can go down and you can swim with the fishes in a non-mobster way.
Thank you for clarification on that.
Yeah, you don't pay your bill at Disney. They put cement shoes and drop you into the aquarium.
Bye-bye.
A tank of piranhas.
Oh,
See you in a bit.
Or not.
See you real soon.
See you in bits.
Good luck.
Well, this just went dark.
It is almost October.
That's right.
spooky season. Just around the corner.
That's right. Okay, so once you leave there, so let's spend a little bit of time on the Seas with Nemo and Friends. Good ride, bad ride, indifferent ride.
I think it's adorable. I really like when the ride first launched and you could see that animation over the aquarium, so it looked like the animated characters were swimming with the real fish. That was groundbreaking at that point. Now you just roll through it and it's like, that's really cute and okay. But back then, it was like, this is like cutting edge technology. And they've done a lot with that, like on the cruise ships and things like that. So like I'm slowly learning that everything that Disney does is for a test of something yet to come.
Yeah.
Very
It's a
interesting.
good point.
I like the ride. I don't think it's a must do because you can actually go in and just look around in the aquariums without going on the ride.
Can you?
Yeah. but it's a cute ride, and it's a good way to stay in air conditioning for a bit. And who doesn't love Nemo? I could
Very
do without
true.
the first 5 minutes of the film, but
Yeah.
Important.
You're that way with a lot of Disney films.
I
though.
am.
Just cut out the first 5 minutes and you're happy with it.
Well, it tears your heart out and then
stomps all over it.
Yeah.
Gotta learn to grieve.
That's right. Disney's teaching you how to grieve.
Repeatedly.
Yes.
In every movie.
Yes. It's gotta happen.
Yeah, Nemo is a cute one. I think it's fun. I know Lariah wasn't a huge fan of it, she said.
It was, I guess, with the information now that you've said, it was groundbreaking. Now I find it cooler. But those rides, like, I'm not a huge fan of, like, that one or, like, Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
I know, I'm sorry, that's very unpopular. I'm sorry, but I was like, after going, I don't want to sound unappreciative, but after going on some of the rides, I was just like, yeah, just in a clamshell, just going through it. And
I think my thing with the Seas with Nemo and Friends is they didn't do a good job at telling the story. It's too short to do that story any justice. It's a cute ride.
yeah.
That's all it is. But they try and shove a story into it, and I don't, like, when you look at, like, the Little Mermaid ride in Magic Kingdom, when you look at some of the other rides, like the Winnie the Pooh ride in Magic Kingdom, they do such a good job shoving a story into that 2 or 3 minutes that they kind of missed the mark, I think, with that Seas with Nemo and Friends. They could have done a completely unique story, but they tried to do the actual story, and I think they fell a little short.
And to your point, with Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid, they crammed that story into a pretty tight time frame too. So there's pieces of it that I think they kind of missed on.
Yeah.
That ride has one of my favorite moments in a ride in all of Walt Disney World. So, but we can talk about that when we get to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
I do, though, in Nemo and Friends, I did like the end with Crush, because I do love Crush. So, because he's pretty awesome.
Wait,
So,
I do have a question then. Are you not a fan of the movie Finding Nemo? Is it, like, not one of your favorites, or are you just like, it's a good movie? Because I really like that movie. That movie to me is kind of a comfort watch. Because I feel like it was at that point when Pixar started to get really, really good. Because wasn't it the thing that kind of changed it where they could finally do water? I read this thing where Pixar couldn't figure out how to do water or fire and maybe one other thing. And then I think once Nemo came out, they really played around with that and got it, like, perfectly.
no, I do love the movie Finding Nemo.
Okay.
But I think it is one that I've just watched a lot, kind of like Toy Story, where I'm just like, okay, yes, I know literally every single line to this movie. Like, I love it, and I love, like, some of the scenes, but some of it I'm just like, yeah,
Okay.
I got
So it's
it,
just a little
but-
overdone. Okay.
yeah. But I do love it. No complaints, even though I just complain.
I thought it was maybe because you're terrified of the water.
No.
No.
I am, but no, that's not it.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so we're still in Future World. Let's talk about a couple more things there. Club Cool is coming back.
Yay!
Club Cool, Lariah, was closed when we were there.
Yes, unfortunately.
But you know all about it, right?
Yes, I do know. Because it's been talked about a lot, so I would have liked to seen it, but
Experience.
experience.
You can't just see it. You have to taste it.
Okay,
There's a whole ball
I
of happening
will-
in that place.
I will taste it next time. But, yeah, I did want to experience it, but it's not something I was super bummed out about. But guys just kept saying Club Cool, and I was like, well, I want to be in Club Cool.
And Club Cool is a good experience.
It is.
It grosses me out every time, and not just because of one beverage. I never went into that place when the floor wasn't just overly sticky. Because it was a self-service soda shop.
Oh.
So there were, 15 or 20 different kiosks where you could go in and try different Coca-Cola brands from around the world.
Yeah.
And they gave you these little 1 or 2 ounce cups.
Like a Dixie
that
cup from the bathroom.
You fill those full of soda. And you have a whole bunch of kids in there trying to get their own soda.
I want to pick the next flavor.
Half of it is going to end up on the floor.
Right.
So that hopefully they come up with new flooring when they reopen it that doesn't end up that sticky. It's just gross.
Or they hire a couple extra cast members to just constantly mop.
Moving the kids out of the way.
Have a hose and just spray down kids when they walk through. Oh, you spilled something, sprayed everybody down, including the kid.
I am curious to see how they're going to redo it, because with, COVID, I don't think the self-serving thing is going to be a thing anymore.
Oh, didn't you know COVID's over in Florida? They don't care anymore.
Stop it.
No, I will
Our apologies
say,
to the citizens of the state of Florida.
I will say that Disney is very good at being clean. Like, very good. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a feature that was taken out because of that reason for the self-serving with the floor
I've
being all sticky.
seen pictures of the remodel. And I don't think they showed you inside. It was just kind of outside views. It looks really, like you said, it looks clean and sharp and brighter than what it used to be.
Right.
Used to feel like you were going into a Coca-Cola dungeon.
Yeah, like a outlet of some sort, because it had cement floors, right?
Like with second run Coca-Cola merchandise where it might be spelled with a K or something.
But the machines were cool, because they're like fountains that when you go to a restaurant or something and you do that, it had a timer on it, so you didn't have to stop it.
It did the right amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just push it in and it would stop automatically, because it would just give you a little shot of it. And you just,
Okay. Okay. Inventive.
sink it, get another one, sink it.
Another one. Sink it.
Yeah,
You get the idea.
5 Beverleys.
Ugh,
I hope they don't get rid
Wow.
of Beverly.
they won't. They can't. It wouldn't be Club Cool without Beverly.
And you have to try it every time you go, because
I'm
you
out
gotta.
of the loop here. I want to know who Beverly is.
Do we tell her who Beverly is?
I think we should tell her,
Okay.
because it's a nasty, dirty trick if you don't.
Okay.
So Beverly is...
Well, hold on. Spoiler alert for those that don't want to know the secret. You might want to pause, skip ahead 15 or 20 seconds. Maybe a minute. Give Candace time to explain it. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So Beverly is this Italian soda, and it was meant to actually be drunk after a meal to help settle your stomach, but it's very, very, very bitter. There's no sweetness to it at all. Okay. So it's just this bitter nastiness. And his brother and sister-in-law think it just tastes like carbonated soda, or carbonated water, like seltzer.
Ooh.
No, there's a big flavor of nasty in there too.
But you have to try it.
I've tried it every
Oh.
time I've gone in.
And I will try it again.
I probably
it's part
will
of the
try it. I'm
experience.
too curious now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of the experience, but it's really gross.
Okay.
So get ready for Beverly.
Beverly's
She's
coming.
waiting for you.
Okay.
Okay, welcome back to those of you that skipped ahead because you didn't want the spoiler. Club Cool, we're leaving there. There's 3 more rides that we need to talk about.
Yeah, there's Mission Space, Test
Test
Track.
Track and Figment.
Yes.
Journey into Imagination with Figment. So let's start there.
Okay.
I know Candace has not been on that one. The other 3 of us have. Did you like it?
I loved it.
What did you love about it?
Again, with the whole late 80s, early 90s feel, you walk in and you see the pictures of all the Disney scientists on the wall, like the dad from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Wayne Zelinsky.
Yes. And then,
Flubber.
yep, Flubber, I don't
The
remember.
bot. Isn't her name just Bot or something?
No. Oh, gosh. I can't remember her name now. But, yeah. I can't think of the bot's name, and now it's making me mad. But yeah, you walk in and you see all the scientists, and I don't know, there's just all these bright colors, and then you get on the ride. And I was wearing ears, and the cast member told me to take them off. And I was like, whoa, what is going to go on? And you just go through all this fun, I don't know, it's just fun.
It is. I would have loved to have seen that ride prior to them taking out the Dreamfinder.
Yeah.
Because everything that I read online is it was 100 times better ride with the Dreamfinder instead of Eric Idle kind of being in charge of the shenanigans. Mm-hmm. But they had taken out Figment for a while, too.
I was just going to say at least Figment is back.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't in the ride, I don't think I would have liked it as much. He was so cute and just fun. And
Well, Lacey has a thing for Disney dragons.
yeah.
She's always had
They're
her.
cute. They're cute.
Dragons are
Well,
amazing.
dragons are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But they're always her must-do, which is one reason why I think you
I
go
love
crazy
yeah.
over it.
Well, and then when you exit the ride, it's like a fun little children's museum. They have like sciencey stuff. And it was so cute. And when I was little, and even now as an adult, I love the children's museum. It's just fun to play around with all that stuff, and you're learning while you're doing that. It's just fun.
Well, it looked it looks like an optical illusion
Yeah.
when you get out. So I really like that concept of it.
Yeah, I think the post ride is my favorite part of that ride.
Really.
Like, there's that one scene at the end or that one little booth where you get to go over and you stick your hands across and you conduct. And the speed in which you conduct is the speed, like, you're actually conducting an orchestra that's there, and they play at your tempo, which is, for somebody who's loves music and that kind of thing. I'm not a conductor. I don't know all the right hand motions and that kind of thing. But just being able to go in there and keep a beat, they stuck with me. And I would change my beat, they'd move along. It's just so much fun just playing around with. And it's all kind of hands-free. You're not really touching anything in that queue. You're just using your imagination to do different things. Which is awesome.
Would you push a child out of the way to conduct music?
Yes. So we'll go back to that. Another merch idea. I will push children out of the way for the right experience. Keep it clean, Candace. Keep it clean.
Hey, you're the one that said it.
And we were joking earlier about my comment in a previous episode about pushing children out of the way for the honey wall.
Yes. Well, that stuff is fun to play with as an adult, too.
It is. Yeah. Okay, so Mission Space.
No.
Orange and green. Green is more mild. Would you go back and try the
No.
less mild version?
No. Not at all. She would. I would not.
So the orange spoiled the entire thing for you.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
It was too much.
Like claustrophobic.
See, I do not like spinny rides. They make me pretty sick. It helped that I did not know we were spinning until after, but now that I know it's spinning, I will not be able to get that out of my head, and I could not.
The green one doesn't spin.
What does it do?
You just watch a video. It tilts.
Then even worse. No.
It just tilts. It doesn't spin around. It just tilts you up and down.
I'm telling you that the orange compared to the green is like night and day. Like, it is so, when Scott and I did that, it was my very first ride at Disney. Very first ride. I loved it.
Okay, well then maybe.
But also
Maybe.
it was like early in the morning when we got there. It was the first ride, kind of empty stomach. But I think if you take your Dramamine, you'd be fine.
Should you really need to take medication to go on a theme park ride?
Well,
Maybe, but I'm just gonna go chill with Candace.
That's fine.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
'cause-
find something cool.
I can't do it on
Somewhere.
any level because I'm very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And watching ride-throughs of it and things like that when everything shuts down and that screen is like here, no.
we'll go find our cool new hangout spot at Epcot while you guys.
Well, you two can go get a drink from.
Yes.
Joffrey's or
From the pyramid.
Yeah.
Go to the pyramid. Get a drink.
Tequila
go to
bar.
Mexico and get some tequila.
Yeah,
Get
Yeah.
a margarita.
And then we'll just show up later and catch up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Good luck finding us.
We're in Disney.
Right. We're in Disney in search of alcohol. We may not even try and find you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you didn't like the orange either.
No, but also it was a weird time of day. You know, I don't remember what time. Weren't we just about to go get lunch or dinner?
I think
Dinner.
So,
So it was like, I think the sun was just kind of setting when
Yeah.
we left the ride, meeting Candace at Stan and Helen's.
Was that day?
Yeah.
No, it was the day when we met Baymax and we went to Garden Grill.
For breakfast.
And we met Candace later on.
Yeah, because that was our Garden
Oh.
Grill night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I thought,
No,
because I
California Grill.
California
remember
Grill, that's
getting
right.
off that ride, and then we went and met Candace at the restaurant, and she was like, "Are you guys okay?" And because
No, I don't
we
think
looked
so.
sick.
Wait,
Am I making this
Or
up?
did you go again?
no, we
I
only
only
went
went
once.
No.
That's the only ride that, like, really made me feel sick.
Because now I can't remember, but it seems like we were over there and we found that bench to sit on and we were waiting for you guys to do something and come over and meet us at the restaurant. And I can't remember what it was.
Okay, maybe I'm remembering it wrong then.
We went and got souvenirs one time.
Did you go back to Figment to get souvenirs to buy something that you were gonna?
Maybe. A pin, which
Oh.
I found.
Did you find it?
I lost it, and I found it. Okay, we're getting so
Okay.
off track. We're probably going to cut all of this out.
I don't cut anything out really. Only a lot of ahs and ums. It's
Which
they're
is very appreciated.
long spaces of silence where we're thinking.
Okay, test track.
Yes,
Wait, did you say that you would do
I would do
missions-
orange again.
Okay. Wow.
It didn't bother me at all.
I wish I...
It didn't bother me one bit.
I just remember going to press that button and my hand was like shaking.
force of gravity
I was
was
I
like-
have to push this button.
We're gonna die if I don't push this button.
She does not like rides where you have to be instructed to do something. She gets so nervous because I told her that. I was like, you will get assigned a person on the rocket and you have to do it. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it won't work if you don't. And she got all freaked out.
That's why my hand.
She's like, oh God, it's me now.
I have to do it. I have to do it.
But anyway,
Millions
test
will
track.
die if I don't.
So that was probably my doing. Probably scared her.
Way to go.
Okay, test track. You've not ever done test track either, have you, Candace?
I
Did you do
both.
that one?
Yeah, I've done them both.
Okay, you've been on both the old and the new? Okay. Why did I not know that?
No.
Have you been on both versions? No, because it was rained out when we were there with
Yeah.
you the first time.
Yeah.
And then this time we did we do the single rider? Is that how we got onto that ride this time?
Yes.
Because we didn't get to build our own cars and stuff, right?
Right, but we were able to sit with each other.
Right.
So, yeah, we did do the single rider because I think it was like, 5 minutes
Yeah.
or 10 minutes for single rider, and we just did it. And it was fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites at Epcot too. I like the old version better. So the old version was you took on the place of a crash test dummy. So they were sending all these cars when it was GM. Is that what it was? So now it's Chevy. So back when, no, was it Ford? I don't remember. Whoever the
No, it wasn't
original,
that.
I think it was GM. They took you through all the paces that they would do to test a car, and like right before you burst outside, they're setting that up as that is the wall.
The crash test.
The crash test.
Oh.
Like everything else is like we're going to test the suspension and you go over the whole bunch of bumps and
then the heat tunnel,
we're
and the
gonna
cold tunnel.
test hot and cold. And they took the hot and cold away. Now you go into a bright orange room and a bright white room, so you have to think about warm and cold. But it used to be you'd go through that room and the temperature would go up by 25 degrees. And you go through the cold room and it would be 25 cooler than ambient temperature. So cool. And then you'd come up and they're like, okay, we're gonna test the crash viability, and they just floor it. And then right before you got to the wall, the door would open and you'd go outside.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so much better than the like Tron testing that they do now. I do like that you can build your own car and you get to test it for all the different things like aerodynamics and fuel efficiency and that kind of thing. But that's fun once. To me.
And once again, it's a screen in your face.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, my question is, did it have to do with a sponsorship? Do you think that when they get a new sponsor, they have to run ideas by them and like the sponsor has say in what the changes are?
I would say yes.
Okay.
That, and they probably took a lot of guest feedback, because they do that quite often too, where they do guest surveys and that kind of thing. And if somebody said, I just don't like sitting in a car, if enough people say that, they're going to change it to be more interactive and more hands-on.
That makes sense.
And that what the cue for that was really prior to that change. The cue was like you were going through an auto body shop, like a manufacturer, where all the parts were just hanging around, that kind of thing. So I think in an effort to make the queue more interactive, so you didn't know how long you were waiting in line, they made the ride a little bit worse.
Okay. I do have something to say about it, which I don't know if any of you will agree on, but I felt like it was a little similar to Rock and Roller Coaster. Some parts of it. For some reason, I get parts of it mixed up between the two. So, not that that's a bad thing, but I guess my thing is like the streets with the neons, all of that are just really similar.
That's a very good point.
So,
And I believe those rides opened up around the same time, if not within the same couple of years.
okay.
So some of that design may have come through on that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a good ride as is today. It's another one that probably needs some updating though.
Yeah.
Okay, so we spent the first 52 minutes on Future World. This is why I love these conversations. That did not feel like 52 minutes worth of conversation.
No.
But we still have an entire half of that park to go through. We always tend to start at the left as you're looking at it. So we're gonna start in Mexico. Who wants to start us off? What do we want to talk about?
Well, we can talk about the pyramid and how cool it is.
Go for it.
I was not expecting that. I didn't know you could go inside. And then once you go in, it's all dark and has like, looks like a little street market with the restaurant inside and the ride I love. Grand Fiesta Tour. Yeah. That was a fun ride. I was not expecting it, and I don't think I've even heard of it before. So it was just a fun little boat ride with the three caballeros. That was fun.
Yeah, the inside of that pyramid, they've actually made a lot of really cool updates to that after Coco came out. I think they can do more updates since Coco came out, and we can talk about that a little bit too. But like the Day of the Dead stuff that they have just everywhere now, that wasn't there until Coco came out.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I want to try in the pyramid is La Cava de Tequila. They have a tequila bar that you can go try different tequila flights and that kind of thing, and then stumble your way to whatever the next country is. But yeah, the inside of that pyramid, there's a lot of really cool stuff. One of the things Candace and I like to do is we don't, some of the souvenirs we buy aren't necessarily Disney souvenirs. Like in Animal Kingdom, we bought a wind chime, a wooden wind chime from Africa. And that's one of our favorite souvenirs that we've ever bought. And that's the kind of thing that you can get in that little street market. Grand Fiesta Tour, I think, is an adorable ride. But how cool would that be if they re-themed it to be cocoa based and had it be the land of, what's it called? Is it the Land of the Dead? And just themed that whole thing, like all those bright colors. You're taking a trip through that and all the different things that are going on. You could still have Donald and the Three Caballeros be a part of it as kind of a throwback to them.
Yeah.
I think as cute as that ride is, the way it is, I think they could do such cool things with that little track of water.
I think the only way that I would be okay with that is if they did some throwback stuff. I mean, updating is fine. But again, remember where we come from.
Right. Yeah, I think Coco is such a cool movie, and it has really good music, and incorporating that into the ride would be really cool.
How adorable would it be for Donald to be singing Remember Me?
That would be so cute. I would love that.
Like, have him be on stage at the talent show trying to win his way into What's His Bucket's party.
That would be fun. Yeah. Yeah, if they did something like that where they, kept the Three Caballeros and Donald into it in some parts, kind of mixed. Isn't there a show that kind of mixes all the characters?
Mickey's PhilharMagic and Magic Kingdom, yeah.
I've never seen it, but I've heard that Iago and Donald is both in it, and I think, incorporating the Fab Five into Disney movies like that, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they've actually just done a Coco scene for PhilharMagic as well.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Yeah, because that's a Donald attraction. It's called Mickey's PhilharMagic, but it's all
Mickey
about
for
Donald.
about that long.
Love that.
It's all the chaos he creates when he puts on the sorcerer's hat.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
It's super cute.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that more when we get to Magic Kingdom. So then one of our favorite restaurants on property is across the street from the pyramid, which is Stan and Helen's. We told the story about Stan and Helen in a previous episode.
Yep.
Oh.
And actually, I don't know. I get skeeved out about things really easily. And like with the margaritas and stuff that you can order, they keep it as authentic as possible. So a lot of the margaritas, it actually has black ant salt.
Yes, I've heard about that.
But never fear, squeamish listeners. You can ask for regular salt or no salt or whatever you want. They won't make you eat the ant salt.
I am such a foodie that however the chef wants to prepare it, that's how I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Or drink it, or whatever.
I would say the same thing.
I'll try anything once.
You enjoy your
Usually
ant
twice.
legs.
Lacey's about to throw up.
Candace, your face
Well,
is in your comments.
We know Candace does not like ants.
No.
Again, throw back to previous episode.
Yeah.
Episode 1, actually, so go back and listen if you haven't.
But I think that's cool and unique.
Yeah. But let's go back to the restaurant.
Stan and Helen's.
Yes. I thought you were going to say something else about our experience when we first tried to get into the restaurant and how the service we got from our cast member just totally, I don't know, because I didn't really get that face on like you did from the hosts there, but I felt like that I forgot all about that until you brought it up not too long ago, because Francisco was just so awesome that it ended up being a really great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hostesses at that restaurant, like we were 15 minutes early to our reservation, I think.
Better early than late.
Better early than late, but they would barely even talk to me until our reservation time had passed. Like, no, you need to come back in 15 minutes. No waiting inside, you have to go outside. I'm like, okay, what are we getting ourselves into? And then, but like you said, Francisco just made that. And I want to try the restaurant in the pyramid, but from what I've heard is that Stan and Helen's is actually far superior food-wise, even though it's run by the same company. The food, like, it was like Candace said in the previous episode about this topic, it was a happy accident because she picked the wrong one on the reservation, but I think she picked the right one on the reservation.
I agree. That was, we've already went into depth about the food there, but it was so dang good. And I think they also have a quick service.
They do.
They?
Yeah.
So if you can't score a reservation, they have quick service, and I heard that the food, it's still them. So try that.
Plus, we would have missed the fireworks if we would have been eating inside the pyramid.
Exactly.
So,
and I think there are some spots around the Mexican pavilion that you can go sit and eat.
yeah.
I was watching a vlog about it, and they found like a perfect little spot and stuff, which, I don't know, I really want to go back and just explore World Showcase. Like, just take a full day and really immerse myself into there. And maybe not even, like, ride any rides apart from Grand Fiesta Tour and maybe Frozen, depending on the wait time. I know Scott will go with me.
I will.
Yeah.
Candace was just looking at my computer screen. I didn't want to miss out on any of the countries, so I pulled up a map because I know we would miss something if I didn't. As much as Candace is the map, we still probably would have jumped over something on accident. Okay, so Mexico, that was a fun place. Next one over is Norway. We haven't spent a ton of time exploring Norway. That's usually a walkthrough for us. But there's several things I want to try there.
It's a beautiful area. The Stave Church is amazing. And then there's like a whole exhibit inside about like the legends of Norway, like Loki and Thor and all that. So that's all inside.
Yeah, another reason why I really would like to spend a full day and just really look at all that stuff.
Yeah, and when you get back into those pavilions, a lot of people just walk on by or go to the food, kiosks and that kind of thing. There's so much to explore in each one of those that you can spend easily a full day.
Yeah, I agree. One of these trips, we're going to just go spend a day in World Showcase. Just spend a day. They open at 11 or 10 or whatever, and just go back there and spend the whole day. And there's now, even if you're just a ride person, there's now going to be enough rides back there that if you feel like you have to do those, they're going to be there for you. Besides Grand Fiesta Tour, there's Frozen, and they're going to be opening up the Ratatouille ride soon. It's actually in cast member annual pass holder previews right now.
Which I'm actually pretty excited about that one. I feel like that one is pretty appropriate for...
Yeah, it's country appropriate at least.
Yeah, yeah. And Ratatouille is... I don't know, when I think of World Showcase, I think of food because, I just imagine eating and drinking around the world. So I think Ratatouille being about cooking and food, it fits well. Unlike another ride in there that doesn't fit as well.
Speaking of the country we're hanging out in right now.
Yes.
Frozen is Norway light.
Yes. Yeah. I just still don't understand how that ride fits in there. I know that it's, the movie is based in Norway, but I just see it fitting way better in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we hinted at this early in the episode that I think this is a good time to talk about it. The over intellectual propertization of Epcot is just too much. You have, if you think about it, there's no IP in that park right now that's truly open other than Frozen. Three Caballeros is close because it's Donald. But still, it's very country appropriate. But other than that, you don't. But they're putting in Guardians in Epcot. Doesn't really fit with the theme of the park, in my opinion.
No, that would go into Hollywood Studios in my mind.
Yeah, you'd put that there instead of trying to get a thrill attraction into Epcot. I get what they're doing. They're trying to make it a full day park that the kids can go to as well. But I'm not a fan.
So let me ask you this. With the Guardians of the Galaxy in California, they actually overlaid Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
So they made that the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. Would you rather have what they're building in Epcot now, or would you rather have them screw up, yes, I said screw up, Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios.
Well, okay, I already know my answer, but what kind of ride is Guardians of the Galaxy?
It's still a drop ride.
In California. The one they're putting in Epcot's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I do not understand the drop ride version of Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know, maybe I'll
It has
have to
something
look.
to do with Rocket.
I'll have to look through a ride through, I guess, of it, but that doesn't make any sense to take away such an iconic ride. Like, no sense at all. And Tower of Terror is definitely an iconic ride.
Yep.
It's one of the ones that you can see driving through, and you're like, there it is.
I mean, that's the park weenie right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the what?
I was wondering the same thing. Not gonna
Okay,
lie.
so each one of the Disney World parks have what Walt called a weenie.
Oh.
And it's like the icon. So like the castle is for Magic Kingdom, Spaceship Earth is for Epcot, Tower of Terror is for Hollywood Studios, and the Tree of Life is for Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
Those are the weenies.
Yeah, so, then it doesn't make sense.
See, my thing is, I think since they're making Tron in Magic Kingdom, that fits way better in Future World than Guardians does.
Yeah, flip those, right?
Right?
If you're going to do a roller coaster in Epcot, do something that's future focused in Future World.
Right.
And they probably didn't have the space. And they had the building from Ellen's Energy Adventure.
For Guardians.
That is
Guardians.
true. But it just, I don't know, to me it just makes more sense to flip those. I think Guardians is going to be very out of place because I'm trying to think about all the rides, and the only ride I can think of, so if I'm wrong, stop me, but the only ride I can think of in Epcot that's based off of a movie is Frozen.
Yeah.
And
Now. Then Ratatouille.
Ratatouille, which fits perfectly because, like we just said, World Showcase, food, drinks, all of that. But I don't know. I just find it to be odd that the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be in Future World. And yeah, I guess we can talk more about how they're trying to do that because I find it odd.
Yeah, they're trying to put almost too many rides back in Future World. And as cool as some of the rides sound, like before COVID, they had released a Mary Poppins ride concept for England as well, where you are basically I think it would probably be a Peter Pan-ish ride that leaves from the Banning house.
Weird that they would...
The Darling's house.
The Banks house?
Yes, I'm getting all sorts of movies confused. Wow.
Weird that they would choose that and not Alice in Wonderland. Because
you see
Yeah,
Alice
you
back
see
there
her.
quite a bit.
You see Mary back there too.
And Winnie the Pooh.
yeah, I wouldn't mind another Winnie the Pooh ride.
Yeah. What they were talking about with the Mary Poppins ride sounded really cool to me. Like, that's one, they had already started Ratatouille, but to me, a Mary Poppins ride makes more sense than re-theming, albeit probably an unpopular ride, with Frozen. I'm getting that look again. I'm going to get punched before the end of this episode, so everybody, if you hear a thud on the floor, that's me after being punched by my wife.
Oh, there'll be two hits. Me... No, what is
me
Scott?
hitting you and...
There'll be
Me
two
punching
punches.
you and
You hitting the floor.
We just butchered that. I did, not you guys. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked how Epcot was its own sort of thing with a little bit of characters. Like you said, we would see Alice there, and Baymax is back in, Future World. You just see a little bit of that. But Epcot was kind of its own sort of thing. And now it's like they're adding so much Disney movie stuff, which, I love Disney movies, but it's just kind of, I don't know.
Is Epcot the place for it?
Exactly.
And not to be hateful, but was Guardians of the Galaxy that good that it deserves a ride?
I love that movie. It's an amazing movie, but it would be the last movie I think of when thinking of Disney World adding a ride.
Yeah, you don't think Disney Epcot and think, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, let's go.
Exactly.
That's, like we've all said, that's definitely Hollywood Studios because Star Wars is back there.
Right.
And it's like, Star Wars, so why wouldn't you add Marvel to that over there?
That's what I was thinking, where maybe Marvel would have its own sort of land somewhere, not in Epcot. That makes zero sense to me. But I don't see Guardians. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a cool ride.
Maybe they are just testing it, and maybe they have an idea for it that maybe they'll move it, because like you said, every single ride gives you a glimpse of what they're doing in the future.
They're spending a lot of money for a test.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be popular. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be the only roller coaster.
Maybe that's
In
why
Epcot.
they're doing it too, because they're like, shoot, we need to add a roller coaster.
And they're
in
trying to
this-
draw more people into Epcot. I was looking up the attendance figures somewhere just because I was curious like how Universal was competing, because with all the changes happening, which we'll get to in a future episode, there are so many people on online forums like, well, I guess I'll take my money to Universal. And I'm like, okay, yeah, goodbye. Have fun over there.
Be nice.
But I was looking up attendance figures to see, and Disney World, like Magic Kingdom, what did I tell you? Got over 20 million visitors in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Universal parks got 10 million visitors in 2019. Double the attendance. Epcot had like 16 million or 18 million visitors. So I'm sure they're trying to pull people out of the different parks, but the least attended park is Hollywood Studios. Why not put more there to pull people into Hollywood Studios and out of the other parks, instead of trying to bring it to an already busy park? Other than it's huge, they can handle more people. If they get up to 25 million people in a year at Epcot, they can probably handle it space-wise. But they have to have more things for them to do, so they're not just standing on top of one. I get why they're doing it. I just...
See, here's the thing, though. When you think of Disney has done this for itself, where you think of the castle.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If you're going to go do Disney, you're not going to pick, and if you are one of these people, then you are one of the few, you are not going to pick Epcot, Animal Kingdom, or Hollywood Studios over Magic Kingdom if
Right.
you go for one day. Because even before Disney movies start, what do you see? A castle. You're gonna go to that. And I think that, I'm sorry to get really passionate now, because it's just like,
Fired up.
I love Epcot so much, and I love change, but I'm really scared for the direction that they're going in, because Epcot has a lot of heart in there. Like, it's its own unique thing. And Hollywood Studios was dying there for a little bit. And I honestly do think that adding the Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge was a good thing for Hollywood Studios, because whether we all agree with it or not, people want to see that stuff. They want to go and meet those characters. Like, they're die-hard Star Wars fans, But I don't think there's ever going to be an equal amount of people going to all four of the parks. Magic Kingdom's always going to win.
Yeah, agree.
Well, and I know that like several years ago we had an instance where we were getting ready to leave on a cruise vacation. And as any good travel professional will tell you, you always get there at least one day before, just in case your flights are delayed or whatever. You don't want to be arriving on sale date because you might miss your ship. Anyway, we had one day that we could pick a park to go to. We actually picked Epcot. And I cannot tell you how much my soul hurt not being able to go into Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I love Epcot, love it. But it's just, I didn't get to see the castle. I didn't get to see Main Street. I didn't get to see the Haunted Mansion. I didn't get to see what I go to Disney to see.
So did it not feel like a Disney?
It didn't feel like a Disney
or at least
vacation.
a
It felt like
complete-
something that was missing.
Well, even now, my favorite park is Epcot. If we went and I didn't go to Magic Kingdom, it would feel wrong.
Right.
So,
Agreed.
Norway.
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 Honestly, that's why I love doing this podcast. We just completely went a different direction. But I do have a question for you guys as a group. We are only on our second out of how many countries?
11.
11 countries. Would we be better served, since we're at almost an hour and 20 minutes into this episode so far, would we be better served to come back and do the countries of World Showcase another time? And just, instead of talking about each country, let's talk about our favorite things in World Showcase. So, cursory glance over the top of World Showcase, and then we can come back and we could even potentially do an entire episode about specific countries that we've spent some time in. So let's do that instead. So question I'm going to ask: favorite country in World Showcase?
Mexico.
Mexico, Lariah?
It is something I'm a little peeved about, to be completely honest. My favorite country as of right now is Canada. I don't know what it is. I was not expecting to like that one as much as I did. But I just, because I know if I remembered it or if we actually went there, my favorite one would be France.
Yeah, we didn't spend a whole lot of time.
I cannot remember France at all, but I know that would be my favorite one. But of the ones I can remember, it's Canada. It feels colder there. I don't know.
There's something to that. On a 127-degree day on concrete, you walk into Canada and you're like, oh, this feels refreshing.
That's kind of a lame reason, but...
And you didn't even see
know.
half of Canada.
Yeah, probably not, because that was kind of a quick...
Yeah.
Which is why I'm in total agreement of spending a full day there, because I'm like, I want to be in every single country for a long time.
Yeah, back in Canada, back behind, like, you know where Le Cellier is, down in that little cavern down there. So you would recognize it if you saw it. You may not,
I'm
in your
sure.
mind, be able to picture it now, but you'd recognize it now. If you go back there, there's like a little spring and rock formations and waterfalls and that kind of thing that you can do a little walking trail back up in there as well. Super cool. The theming that they do throughout. Canada is my favorite land too, and I've not done that walking trail either. So I'm all aboard with going and doing a full day just in World Showcase. What's your favorite?
Morocco.
Why is Morocco your favorite?
The architecture is amazing. There is some of the most beautiful tile work, like the mosaic tiles that I have ever seen in my entire life. And like you get tucked back into that pavilion, there's never anybody back there because nobody knows about the stuff to go and look at. So there's like fountains and all this really cool like buildings with balconies and really cool like the little mosaic lanterns. That's what they use for lighting back there. And it's just so quiet and peaceful, and there's always really cool exhibits. And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful pavilion.
Yeah, it is really pretty. Gorgeous.
If you could pick one festival to go to at Epcot, which would you go to?
Food and wine.
Food and wine.
I wanted to do that other one, the flower one.
Flower and Garden.
Yeah, even though food and wine sounds awesome, but
They still have food, don't they?
Yeah,
The
there's
Flower Garden.
always different foods
Oh,
and drinks and
okay.
that kind of thing at all of them.
I
don't know,
just prefer the time that food and wine is like in.
Fallish.
Yep.
oh yeah, I like the
Those
springy flowers.
Summer.
Yeah, this year it started in like
July.
October of last year.
Been
Yeah, no,
going
they
on
started
for
it in
years.
July this year.
Isn't there another one? Art
Yeah, the
Festival of the Arts.
Festival of the Arts. That's the one I actually think would be really cool. All the
And then there's
artists
the
in there.
holiday one.
Oh yeah, I forget about that one. The
Which
one that
is
starts
beautiful.
on
The
December
decorations are-
1st.
Did you get to see that one? Nice.
That's
All the
cool.
different sugar cookies, because they do like sugar cookie booths for that one. Don't
Yeah, they do.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I think we have to go to all four of them just so we
Just to
can.
be educated for this.
Yeah, so we
Yes.
can let our audience know
Right.
which one is.
Is the best.
Yeah.
In our opinion.
Yeah. If you want to support our podcast, please just send us cash so we can go to Disney. We'll be happy to use it for that purpose.
We'll mention your name, we promise.
Okay, let's end this one here. We are just a little over a minute 20 after or an hour 20. We'll be after editing. It'll probably be a little less than that, but I think we covered a lot in this episode. So thank you for bearing with us on a longer than usual episode. I think as we get used to podcasting, I think they're all going to become a little bit longer just as the conversation flows. So we're going to end this one here, though. Thank you again. Find our Instagram at Hanging at the Hangar Bar. And just remember, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
See you real soon.